Everyone, warm welcome to your Wake Up Women series. Today we have a new participant, a new community member with us. She is Gunjan Mathur. And like you all know, the Wake Up Women series is all about waking women up to finances, helping women take charge of their finances. So today, let's hear Gunjan. Let me see if she's here. Okay, as of now, I don't see her. Let's see. Hey, Prerna, everyone, warm welcome. Gunjan, if you are here, do make sure you type in here that you are here. Okay, Hira, Sheetal, everyone, hello. Warm welcome. Let's see if we have Gunjan around. Okay, I'm waiting for her then.
In the development sector. Here she is. Hey,
Hi. Hi.
warm
Nice.
welcome, Gunjan. Thank you
Hi.
for showing up
Pleasure.
and thank you for taking time out for this Wake Up Women series.
Thank you very much for inviting. It's a pleasure.
Great, Gunjan. Let's go straight at work. So, could you
Yes.
share a bit about yourself, please?
Okay, so I am working in development sector. I work with BBC Media Action, and it's been around 10 years that I'm working here. And I grew up in Delhi. My parents, everybody's from Delhi. My grandparents as well. We are all from Delhi, and my schooling was in Delhi. My growing up part, a large part of my growing up was in Delhi, rather than just going to some states to study and just to do internships and all. But largely, I was in Delhi. So, yeah, I mean, because we are here and we are talking about financial literacy. So, just like, I would like to sort of share that, while growing up, like, I belong to a very typical 1980s, 90s style of family. My, that my dad ran the financial show. Both my parents were working, by the way, and
Oh,
my mom,
wow.
yeah, and my mom was, earning very good for her times. She was with BHL and she's like really doing well for her times. And so yeah, I mean, we saw like this, like every time my father would sort of come home and maintain a ledger of what is going out, what is coming in, and how much we are spending. So it was basically like, like my mom earned and gave all her salary to my dad, and my dad managed all the
Okay.
savings and all the investments. So that's how we sort of grew up, and that's how we saw the finances basically, how it
Got
is
it.
happening.
So mom working, dad working, mom
Yeah,
handing over the entire salary while you were growing up to your
yeah,
dad, and then dad is managing the expenses because you're saying
yeah,
he maintained a
yeah.
ledger, and then he's the one who is saving and investing in the 80s and the 90s style. Could you share more about that style? What was that style?
I think I believe a lot of them did not take any risk. I mean, they all saved in very like
Uh-huh.
PPF and FDs, and perhaps FDs were beating inflation at that time, so that's why they were like very happy with the returns that the FD was providing them, unlike today. So I think yeah, so they're very very safe way of or or just invest in gold and save it for your daughter's wedding. Like, very, very typical. Very
Got
typical
it.
that this is FD, this is PPM, if this is gold, keep some cash, at home, in hand, everywhere. So yeah, like,
Got it.
uh,
Got it.
yeah.
So you saw all those investments happening. Like, were you aware that, okay, this is all that they're
Yeah.
investing for and these are their goals?
Yeah. I think they were very very clear. They both saved to buy a house that we live in, and
Mhm.
they both they work very hard to do that. So yeah, I mean, we were very it was very clear that money is coming, but we don't have the luxury of like overspending or spending like the way we like. Like we had very limited pocket monies and very way. Like my father wasn't miser, but he had a lot of like control and was very financially conscious person. So
Got
yeah.
it. Got it. And mom was like, she completely trusted dad with her money.
Yeah.
So,
In fact, she was
yeah,
very proud of my father's financial acumen. Like, she thought that he's really like very good. And in fact, he was. I mean, so she really relied a lot, like all the paperwork, everything like my dad used to do. So that's what I learned. That's what I learned. I
got
never
it.
like I always relied on my dad. Even when I started working, like I would ask him that, okay, now I have to save for tax, like what where do I invest? And also I basically went to him for these questions and he just guided me like the best that he knew. But again, it was very like, I would go, okay, I can't do this paperwork, just do it. Like, very, very
Got
difficult. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So little pocket money and dependent on dad while you were
Yeah.
living with him and you were
Yeah.
single at that time. Yeah, so the dependency was on dad and him doing
Yeah.
things and you expected him to do things, right, for you.
Of course. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Totally.
totally. So taxes, you were taxes the only thing you went to him for?
Yes, that's it. Otherwise, I
That's it.
didn't, yeah, nothing, no other sort of saving, investments, nothing at all. Like I
Got
think
it.
I was earning pretty decent, and even then, if I look back, I just didn't save much or invest much. Like, if I would aware the way that I am today, it'd be just, yeah, I would have probably done better. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. So you were just spending money and little
yeah,
savings you were doing, and those savings were basically to save income tax.
yeah.
So that is
That,
it. And where you depended on your dad to come
yeah,
in and guide you, and he did guide you, right? So,
yeah,
and it was
yeah.
working all fine
It
till
was
one day you
working
got married.
till the day that I got married. Yes, true. So I think that, I really feel that, while growing up also, I saw like my mom very, like, at that time also women were sort of breaking stereotypes. Like my mom was going to work, she sort of retired, like she worked for 38 years. And one
Wow.
sort of a stereotype that she broke for her times was to be financially independent of, in a way.
Yeah.
And then I saw like even my families, like my aunt, like my chachi, she was very feminist, very strong. She would always guide us that you have to protect yourself, you have to earn for yourself, you don't have to be dependent on men. Like, so I had that environment, but I was very quiet while growing up. It's just like later that I could like sort of speak up for myself, but I was very, very quiet.
Okay.
So I would take all that and like I like being independent. I like being, very strong and very sorted and disciplined in a certain way. But it's only when I got married that like I think life changes, of course, for both men and women when they get married. And
Right.
so I married this person who's a very, very kind-hearted person, and he's an equalist. I don't know if that's a term, but he's a very like feminist equalist, whatever we want to say. But I still remember the time that I went for our first date, and
Hmm.
I asked him that I like to split the bill, and he and he said, "Yeah, of course." And inwardly, I was just thinking that I hope he says no because I'm no good at splitting the bill, So and
Wow.
I just I paid and I felt nice, I didn't feel that that oh I don't want to be with him. I felt nice that wow he
Right.
just he had a smile on his face and he said, "Yeah, of course, if you like to." I said, "Yeah."
Right.
So I think even in our in our after marriage we had a lot of expenditure here there. We were traveling, and then that's when I realized that the bank balance isn't going up now, and it's just there. And I pushed my husband every time that we should do some investments, we should do savings, we should do this and that. And why don't you go and ask others, or you do it? So he said, "No, you do it." I said, "No, I won't do it." So we had like long conversations on this, and sort of, like we did fight on that who's going to
Wow.
do what, like because
Right.
somewhere I wanted that I'm going to earn and I'm going to give it to you. Now you think where to
Right.
invest. Like why do I
Right.
do go through that pain of knowing ki kahan invest karo, kahan save karo? And it's so
Got it.
like, there is,
So basically, Gunjan, if I could stop you, everyone, you can actually learn so much from Gunjan because she's exactly saying what conditioning is. We all grow up seeing our parents, and Gunjan, exactly what you did. You saw your parents, there were certain roles they were playing, and then you saw, okay, this is how the game is played. You learned it that way, and then you wanted to implement it post marriage. But then your husband said, no, 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 we ain't going to play the game this way, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
go for it.
I couldn't appreciate it because I just felt that, I can't do this because I don't know it. Like if I had
Right.
known it, I would have done it. So I just didn't know how to do it. So I did like the first initial, like maybe more than a year, we were still struggling ki kaun karega.
Hmm.
And every time I would say ki you were supposed to do, and I would give him examples that look, this friend of yours, he is not telling his wife to do. That friend of yours, he's not telling his wife to do. Tumhe bilkul, you have to come to me and say ki you better learn. So
Got it.
I'm very not okay with it because I've never seen it
Right.
also. So, and at the
Right.
same time, in the
So
family,
when
like,
you're saying you've not seen it, like you never saw a couple, an equal couple as far as managing finances is concerned, like both of them pitching money in, both of them managing it together. Like
I
it
have
is
seen
not
people, yeah, I have seen women, giving their salaries, but the decision of financial investment is still in the hands of a
right.
man. Like, I'm
Got it.
yet to see that, somebody knows ki I know everything and this is how I am doing it for myself. And if my husband needs support, I'm going to help him also. So I'm not,
Right.
like, honestly, I'm sure
Right.
there are people around there, like, but
But
I
not
have.
in your circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
not
I'm
in
sure
your
there are
circle.
people not in my circle, definitely. So,
Got it.
even in the family, like we stayed with my in-laws for a couple of years, and in the beginning, my father-in-law played a huge role because he is a professor. Like he wakes up, he reads the entire newspaper, and then he asks you questions, and whether you have read it or not. Like every morning before going to office, I had to answer him what's there in the news. So every morning I would like quickly Google what are the top five international national news so that in case he asks me, at least I have answers. And I was like, okay, like,
Wow.
there's such a pressure to like, and I would tell my husband, tum bhi karo, like, and he would not like, you do it, I don't want to. So I would like really quickly read and then he would ask me. So in a way, he told me and trained me to read newspapers, like not from my
Got it.
phone, but buy a physical like copy and like read, underline, understand what are they saying, what is it. So then he sort of telling me a lot about finances. And like you won't believe,
Got
like
it.
I literally had a notepad and a pen, and he would dictate that okay, these are the type of mutual funds. This is FD. This is the
Wow.
return. This is that. And I really liked it. Like I mean, of course, it was like ki it was not something that I asked for, like that I want to learn or
Right.
something. But it's just that
Right.
like because I was making like he was like he has a very very professor personality to like his this thing. So he basically like taught and that's where my interest sort of grew even more that I really need to know now. Like I can't be, it's been 3 years and that I can't be
Right.
dependent on my husband and my like everybody else sort of and hearsay like कि ये कर दो वो कर दो इसमें अच्छा पैसा रिटर्न हो रहा है उसमें अच्छा हो रहा है कि मुझे पता नहीं हो क्या रहा है. I don't know how the company works, what is the profit and loss, what is the balance sheet of the company, but people telling कि ये कर दो because इसका double return है. And I couldn't buy
Yeah.
it because, like, yeah. So yeah, that's where
So what I'm learning about you, Gunjan, you got into a household which is more like an equalist and
yeah,
feminist, and they want their women to grow.
absolutely,
And yeah, I mean, your husband
absolutely.
saying, "Buddy, I'm not going to manage your money for you." And number two, then your father-in-law saying, "Okay, buddy, pick up the newspaper, tell me what's written. Here
Yeah,
are what are the different kind of investment instruments." So there is a lot of education is already existing in the approach, right? There is
absolutely,
equality in the
absolutely.
house. So you were actually blessed to be
Yeah,
in a
absolutely,
household which was actually
absolutely.
which had woken up,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
in hindsight, if I think like all the pressure that I was feeling, ki, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that, I feel so like, some things that things don't go in favor for you is always like one. I mean, I feel it's such grateful thing to, to not have this in my favor, so because I
right.
learned so much later. So yeah.
Got it.
So
Got it.
yeah.
So here it's like the family pushing you out of patriarchy, the family pushing you out of stereotypical roles and
Yeah.
telling you to take charge, right?
Yeah.
So I see that, in your story, it's like your family really standing up for you, and of course your
Yeah.
father-in-law dictating things, and also you, Gunjan, where you actually had the willingness to learn. Yes, I get that you resisted it because you gave your husband all these examples that see this friend is doing that, that friend is doing that, so you
Yeah.
do. But still, there was this willingness to learn, because if you're making notes while your father-in-law is dictating, which really says about your mindset.
Yeah, I mean,
Could you talk about that?
I was always because I somewhere saw that, we will not be able to reach our goals if we don't save and invest properly. Like, I was coming from
Uh-huh.
that, and I had a lot of dreams. I have a lot of goals to accomplish, and that's where I said that this is a very, very, very crucial skill that I have to build, even if I have to start, because, like I didn't, you remember, like I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know what is nifty, how is what is this word? Like, I mean, of
Right.
course, I know a bit of it, but then, there were so many words that were completely like jargons for me. Ki, I don't know how do I use those words, and what do they mean actually? But yeah, I mean,
Right.
so that's where I felt that, this is a very important skill that I have to build, and it's never too
Got
late.
it.
So better, like, and I remember at that time, Hira, like she used to, put a lot of videos on Facebook and Instagram. And I read about women on wealth, and I thought that this is very nice. Let me just see what they do. And I called Hira up. And I remember that night I spoke to her for 2 hours. And that night only, I said, please take me in. Whatever it costs, whatever
Got it.
it is, just take me in. I want to do both the, like courses of Money Gym and of the stocks program, both. I want to learn from basic and understanding that's all women. Like that space is very comfortable. Like, that nobody is going to
Right.
come and say, Ki, I know better than you, or, you don't know this also, or, like, so I felt like, yeah,
Right.
that I
Got it.
started.
So you felt safe. And everybody who doesn't know who Hira is, so Hira Jethanandani is our core team member. We are a team of 4 women, and we run Women on Wealth. So that's how it functions. So Gunjan here is talking about how Hira spoke with her for 2 hours and helped her know more about Women on Wealth.
Yeah.
So tell me, Gunjan, when you're saying, hey, I knew nothing, I didn't know the basics, right? I wanted to learn from the very foundation level. Um, like the foundation you could see was missing for you, right?
Yeah.
So, like and also were there myths that you had that, okay, I'm not good with maths, or I don't
Yeah.
know numbers?
Yeah, all of that. I think I have never been good at maths, and actually also
Right.
like to look at it like, like you become good at what is expected from you, like, so and I'm generalizing
Wow.
it, and it's just my opinion because, everybody expected me to be strong, to be good, to be like a certain way, and I continue to
Right.
demonstrate that behavior. And when I
Right.
continue to demonstrate that behavior, I became such pro in doing that. Like,
Got
so
it.
nobody ever told me that, oh, you are such a like wise, wise with your finances or your money. So actually, growing up, or otherwise, also not many people compliment women on the way they manage their funds or the advice that they give. They always question, ki, oh, ek baar, like just make sure that your calculations are right, or whatever. So I think that there
Right.
is basic difference when something is appreciated. And I think what I got in this family is also, and especially from my husband, is that, in parties, I must tell you this, that when we were in parties, and like there were men, women both, and they will sometimes will ask
Yeah.
me, अच्छा तुम बताओ कौन सा stock अच्छा है या कौन सा mutual fund अच्छा है. So sometimes they're
Right.
testing me, like कि if I know enough. And when I would hear their, financial, where they're investing, that I really felt that they're not doing it the right way. Like somebody investing in
Right.
15 mutual funds or 18 mutual funds. And I was
My
shocked that,
goodness.
like, before you judge me, I'm going to judge you. Like,
Yeah.
so I did say, of course, in so many words, but I really told them the logic behind that, why we should not do that. But it's just that, even if somebody tries in a party to put me down or just, give a whatever remark, it's always my husband who comes in the picture and who just sort of says, no, she's doing really good. And let's really
Right.
appreciate. And he also tells their wives also that, okay, you should ask your wife to do what she's doing. So that way I feel that
Wow.
people are not pulling you down when you're trying to learn. When you're trying to,
Got
and
it.
even if you're failing, like, even if I'm sometimes, like telling him something which I don't know completely. So,
Right.
and that's okay. And that's accepted. And that's also appreciated after a point of time that okay, it's okay, you're learning, you don't, like you will become even better than me, you don't worry. So all these things really I feel ki arey matlab if somebody, I must tell this to other women, like like I must do this to others also, that even if they're failing, but even the fact that they're trying, they're learning is such an important quality. So I feel that the
Wow.
like I feel that empowerment, and there is a difference between empowerment and gender equality. And when you create
Mm-hmm.
an environment that is empowerment and that leads to gender equality, like when you create an environment for people to learn and for people to be
Right.
themselves, like or a conducive environment for them to be, just like, without any judgments that you can't do good at finance or tumne abhi tak kara nahi, ab tum kaise karoge, like all that. So I think
Got
that
it.
because of that, like it really leads to an equal society, I would feel. I mean, equality at home to begin with. Society is still like a later
Yeah,
thing.
got it. So what Gunjan you are saying is we need to create an environment at home which is all focused on learning, and we
Yeah.
need to constantly look at growing and create safe space for our partners, for our children, everybody in the house, so that they
Yes.
are not feeling judged, right?
Yes.
They're feeling that they're taken care of, they're loved,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then they can move forward like you've moved forward, and your husband
Yeah.
is with you in the journey because he's actually saving you from all the people who are trying to judge you and pull you down.
True.
Yeah, so he's
True.
really pushing for financial progress for you and of course all women around us. So tell
Yes.
me, how has life been after doing both the courses of at Women on Wealth, Gunjan?
I can go on for really long because there is so many things I like to say. But couple of things I think when I came to Women on Wealth, like the first session is not about ki ye seekho. Nothing. I mean, I think the first couple of session was not ki there is this thing that you need to learn. This is how mutual funds work. This is how this works. It was very simple that like, it was building a relationship with money. That what
Got it.
is are your dreams? How do you look at finances? Are you like, happy with the money that you earn? Like, very basic, very like fundamental questions that it's not about teaching alone. So as I mean, I told you also like financial literacy is only 30% of the entire Women of Wealth programs. I think it's more about empowerment. I really feel that, going back to, and I still remember you telling us that don't think whether you will be able to achieve it or not. Just write down. Like write down
Right.
what you would like to, dream. So I remember ki, okay, I wrote down all the impossible ones. Ki, theek hai, this, let's see, how will I do this? Let's see, it's a later stage. But then we started
Got it.
writing like a 2-year plan or a 5-year plan or 10-year plan and started like even one doesn't believe in it. But I think by the end of the program, one has a little hope ki, theek hai, maybe it's possible. It's not like a really difficult
Right.
thing. So I feel
Got it.
that, we learn so much. It's not more, I mean, there are like books that we study, there is a literature that we go to, and the literature is written by all the people who are well researched in this sector. And we read that,
Right.
we again build our skills, we understand the way of, our relationship with money, our spending habits, and like, and we also sort of, figure out that that where are these cracks, when any financial advisor would come to us and say ki double ho jayega 10 saal mein paisa, so you know what to look for. So you know what to look for. So other than like, other than of course the technical skills of, how to look at a balance sheet, what to look in the balance sheet, how do you assess the companies, and what are the fundamentals that you should look at, and what are the things you should absolutely not ignore. So I think all this plus then you have a community to go to. Like imagine like, sometimes asking very simple questions कि मैंने ना थोड़े ज्यादा stocks खरीद लिए, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मैंने कम लिए ज्यादा लिए, like, and then you have this whole community of women who are already, in any stage of, doing this course, maybe like after doing this course, and then
Right.
they sort of come to you and they help you. And
Got
it's
it.
very like give and take also, like, like everybody is there for you. So I am yet to see that somebody has raised a question in the community and nobody responds to that. Somebody or the other would pitch in and say ki iska, like this is what it is, or you should do this and this is how it's resolved, or anything. So I feel that,
Got it.
and then there is economic times decoding. Like imagine, like I like opening economic times, I would just read the headlines and just say, "अच्छा इसमें पैसा आ रहा है, financially आ रहा है, ये नहीं हो रहा." But going deep into like doing that. So I think it's a 360-degree program. It is financial literacy is 30% of it, but a large part of it is like building yourself, like picking yourself up and like creating that skill, and having a good relationship with money, I would say. That not like a
Got it.
very, yeah, so it's like, I mean, I can go on, but I feel that it does a lot, and I'm still like at a learning stage right now. Of course, like even if I've
Right.
done both the courses, I still feel I'm at still at the learning, and I want to go very deep into, like, I'm very slow, but I want to go very deep into learning these specifics. So yeah, like that's what I
Got it.
like.
Got it. So we already know that you're somebody who believes in the art of skill building, and you know that, okay, if I need to go deeper into financial literacy, provide support, because that's the ecosystem, the environment that we need
Yeah,
to thrive financially, and yes, like kind of be together. I think that's
yeah,
what it is. So
absolutely.
now what, Gunjan? Now that you have some knowledge, some understanding, have you invested, not invested? Where are you with regards
Yeah.
to your portfolio and with your husband? Everything, please share.
So I think that, yeah, I started only investing after I did the course, because I didn't invest before because I wanted to be very careful and I wanted to learn basically before, and it's never like what I really understood. It's because I was very hyper that I'm too late into investing and I'm too saving, so I should better like quickly do it. But now I really understood that you can't never time the market, one, of course, but you can any day start. Like there is no like it's not a, of course it's good that you start early, but then even if you start whatever mid in your 30s is also good. So I feel that that's when I started investing. And like even if the market goes up and down, my portfolio remains, I think, like at a very decent return. I mean, giving a decent return. But and also
Wow.
for my husband, like I ask him and he said, you don't even have to ask me. If you're doing this and if you're following this, just go and invest. And I still say कि एक बार, that validation that you look for, कि एक बार बता दे ये ठीक कर रही हूँ. And then he's like, no. And actually it has reduced now. Now I do it and tell him कि हो गया है. Like, that I've invested
Wow.
this. Every month when my salary would come, I would do like, and also because of this course, I think I'm able to understand my spending habits, and we are able to really like bring it down to another level, also because of
Wow.
COVID. But yeah, I mean, because there's work from home and you are not like really traveling on roads. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, still I feel that we are able to really manage and bring it down. So
Got it.
like practically, yeah, like, and I always, like, wherever I go, like to my cousins or like my sisters or my friends, I just keep telling them, like, you must do this course. Like, I can't explain to you. You have to do it yourself to sort of learn, because this is your goals are very different from my goals. So please learn, and it's really, really good. So yeah, and I
Got
must
that.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, really, like, thanks to you and thanks to, I think, the whole community of Women on Wealth, that you're doing a great job. Like, I'm sure you know this, and I'm sure a lot of people have come to you and told you this, but it's a great, great, like, really great work, I feel. So thank you very much.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Gunjan, for that generous recommendation. I want to thank Gunjan, guys. So please thank her for actually sparing all this time with us. This is a financially successful woman, I must say. Gunjan, you are somebody who is now paving the path for many, many women to wake up and actually rise up to their finances. So thank you for being that role model. Continue being on this path, and we are with you till the rest of my life at least. So thank you for
Thank
showing up. Loads of love
thank
and
you
best
so
wishes.
much. Thanks a lot. Thank you, really. Thanks a lot. Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.
So guys, if you want to be like Gunjan, you want to be smart, you want to have great spending habits, you want to save more, you want to invest better, and